This video, we are covering the need of Maven, why we need Maven. So to understand that, let's create a Java project and configure it to support Selenium. So I'm just creating a project. You can give any name here. Click on finish. Once project is created, then you can add your Selenium jar file to the project. Right? So I'll just click on add external jar and select it. Apply. Okay. Okay. The problem with this approach is, so whenever you add any external jar files using Java project on your build path. So let's consider you are working on a team of 10 members. Now you do all these setups and you move your code to any version controlling tool like Git or Git bucket and all, right? So when you move your code, only the code will move to these kind of repositories like Git repository or Bitbucket, right? Only the code will be moved, and whatever you have added jar files on your build path, right? Those will not be moved to repository. So now the problem is, if any other member other than you try to copy the code from your Git, then he will get a code, but he won't get these jar files, right? So what he has to do now, he has to again manually download those files, or he has to manually copy those files from your system and again go to the project, and again he has to repeat the process, go to build path and configure build path, then he has to add those files. Okay, now, so assume that tomorrow you wanted to change version of such file, any such file which you are added on a build path, you wanted to change the version of it, like you wanted to upgrade the version, or if you want to decreate the version. Now what happens, again you need to repeat the same process on all members system. If you have 10, 20, you need to repeat it. Just think, right now we are using only one jar file of Selenium. So tomorrow, if you have 10 10 20 jar files, such jar files in your automation project, then how much time it is consuming, how many times you will manually configure, how many times you will configure in new system. For example, tomorrow you will onboard one more new resources, then again you need to repeat all this process, right? Which is time consuming. To avoid that, so we'll use Maven thing. So what is Maven? Maven is a build tool which helps you to automate build process. Okay, so let's see. First, how do you confirm that whether you have Maven or not? If you go to your Eclipse, just right click on Package Explorer, then go to New. Then if you go to Other, then you can see here Maven, right? If it is there, that means Maven is installed on your system. If Maven is not installed, then you have two ways to install it. One is you can go to Windows on your Eclipse. Sorry, if you go to Help, then install new software. So here you can give the URL m2e/release. So once you give this one, so depends on your internet speed, it will try to fetch the Maven package here. So once it will fetch that package, just select that check mark and click on. Right now it is still pending. Okay, it will take some time. So once it will fetch that one, just select that check mark and click on next till it install. This is one way. So other way is, you can open any browser, then go to this URL. If you scroll down here, you can see here bin.zip file, right? Apache Maven 3.6.3 bin.zip, right? Click on it, it will download it. So locate that downloaded zip file here, right click on it and extract all the files. Once you extract all the files, okay, let it extract. You can see here, new folder created with a extracted file. Okay. So if you open that extracted folder, you can find here bin folder, right? Just copy this path. Then you can right click on your My Computer or this PC, go to Properties and add it to path variable. Where you will find path variable? If you click on this Advanced System Settings, then Environment Variable. Okay. If you scroll down here, path, right? Just click on New, then add that. Okay, and click on OK. Okay. So this is second way. So let's go back to your Eclipse. Once Maven is installed, now let's see how to create a Maven project. Right click on Package Explorer, then go to New, go to Others. Here you will find Maven, right? Expand it. You can find a Maven project here. Just select it. Okay. So don't select this first check mark. Just select the second one. Then click on Next. Select this option, Maven Archetype Quick Start. All right. Just select it. Then click on Next. So it will ask you group ID and artifact ID here. Give anything. I will just use, it can be anything. Okay. Then snapshots indicates this version is on development, like currently we are developing, right? So that is the meaning of this snapshot. Then click on Finish. So you can see here, right? It will start building the project. You can see here the Maven project is building here. If we expand it here, so you can see Maven project is built here, right? So this is a POM. POM indicates project object model. So what if you open this POM? So you can click on this POM.xml. Okay, so this is where you need to mention all your dependency. Like tomorrow, if you want Selenium jar, then you can mention that Selenium jar here. Tomorrow, if you want some other jars, those all the jar files, you can mention it here. So what is the use of this pom.xml is whatever dependency you are mentioning here, what happens? It will download it, those things from the Maven repository. Okay, how it downloads and all, we'll cover it. But in so the advantage of this Maven project is whatever dependency you are mentioning on your POM will be automatically downloaded. So now what happens, once you mention all the dependency here, as it is an XML file, so when you move this entire code to a gate, even this POM will go to the gate. So tomorrow some new resources wanted to copy your code, so then once they will copy their code, copy your project into their machine, so has everything is mentioned in this POM, right? All the dependency. Then what this Maven project will do, it will start downloading those files to the new machine automatically. Tomorrow, if you want to change your version, then what you will do, here you can see, right? The version line. Say if you change the version number here based on your requirement, and again you move to the Git or Git bucket, then whoever is newly getting your project, right, or existing person who wanted to get updated code, then what happens? Updated, you will also get updated POM. So once you will get updated POM, so updated POM will have the new version, right? So then what it will do, it will automatically download that new version and add it to your project. Clear, Maven? So let's see how this Maven build process works. Okay. So to understand that, first you need to understand the different repositories that are available in Maven. Okay. So in Maven, we have three repositories. One is local repository, other one is central repository, and other one is a remote repository. So local repository means this is a very system specific. So now, so I will have my own local repository in my system. So this local repository will be created when you create the Maven project first time. That means when you run any Maven project first time in your system, the local repository will be created. The location of this local repository is, if you go to your C drive, you will have a user folder. You go to user folder, then pick your username, right? For example, let's say I'll go to the C folder here. Then I'll go to users, then my name, then you can see here .m2 folder, right? If you click on it, this is a repository. This is called local repository. Clear? Okay. Then the central repository. Central repository is a Maven repository where most of the softwares will be stored on this one. Software means jar file, like Selenium jar, Apache jar files, all those things will be stored on the central repository. And remote repository is a container. This is specific to particular person or a particular organization. That means there are some jar files, or you might be created some jar files and you don't want to keep those jar files on a Maven central repository. Then what you can do, you can create your own repository and you can keep your jar file on your repository, right? Now, what Maven project will do, Maven project will download those specific jar files from this remote repository rather than from this central repository. How this works is, whenever you make any changes to this POM, like adding a new dependency or updating existing dependency or anything, whenever you make any changes to this POM, first what it will go, it will go to your local repository, that is .m2 folder, and it will check whether that jar file is available on your local repository or not. If it is available, then from here it will pick and it will configure to your project. If it is not available, then it will go to central repository. In central repository, it will check whether that particular jar file is available or not. If it is available, then it will pick it. If it is not available, then it will go on remote repository. Okay. So at any position, whenever it get that required the jar file or a required dependency, then it will copy that to your machine and configure it back to your project. So now, once you mention anything on your POM, it will automatically configure to your project. There is no manual work, like you need to go to build path, then configure build path and adding those jar files. Those manual interactions are reduced by using this Maven project. Okay. So now here, let's see how to add a dependency to your POM, right? So every dependency on your POM will have three things. One is a group ID, one is artifact ID, then what version you want, and scope of it. Scope of it is not mandatory, but these three are mandatory for any dependency. So now let's consider you wanted to add a dependency Selenium jar file. So you want your project to be configured for Selenium. So then you need to add a Selenium jar has a dependency, right? For that, what you need to do is, first you need to open any browser, go to Google, type Maven repository. Okay, here you can click on this first one, Maven repository, mavenrepository.com, right? You just click on it. It will take you to the repository of a Maven. This is a central Maven repository. So let's say now you wanted to add a Selenium jar, right? Just type Selenium. You can see all Selenium related jar files, you got it, right? So now I wanted to add a Selenium Java, right? Let's click on the first link. So you can see all different versions of Selenium jar files are available here. So you can pick whatever version you want. Let's say I wanted this version, then click on it. So it will give you the dependency, what you need to add. So just copy this dependency, then go to Eclipse. There is a tag called dependencies here. Don't remove this, just this one, and just remove, add it, right? So like this, you can have n number of dependencies like this, different dependencies. You can keep on adding it based on your requirement. Now I am adding only one dependency, Selenium. Once you save this, you can see the building a workplace is started. That means build process is started. So what it will do now, it will check this jar file of a given version in your local repository. If it is not found, then it will go to the central repository. If it is not found there, then it will go to the remote repositories. Wherever it will get, it will copy and it will keep it into your local .m2 folder. First it will copy to .m2 folder. Once it will copy there, then what it will do, it will map those jar files to your project here. Okay, you can see here folder called Maven dependency, right? So if you expand it, you can find all those files, right? Whatever you have given on this dependency, you can see here. Okay, so if the mentioned jar file is not found in local as well as Maven central repository and remote repository, then it will throw an error message. Clear? What is the use of Maven? Why we need Maven? And what all the different repositories available in Maven? How to add a dependency? Right? So tomorrow, if you want to change any version of this, just you need to update this. Then what happens? It will remove that existing version. For example, let's say now, let's go back. Now I wanted to add 3.9. Okay. So what I will do now, just copy this version, go to your POM here, give that version, then save it. You can see again build process starts. So that means it is started downloading it. You can see here currently it is showing older version here, right? So now I used 3.9.1. So let this complete. Now it is currently 75% because it is downloading that one, right? It may take some time. So now it is 100%. You can see here all the files are updated to the new version, right? Is that not easy? It's easy, right? Rather than you manually download those jar files and go to your project, right click, go to build path, add those jar files. Instead of that, directly you can use Maven, right? Clear why we need Maven? Thank you all.